All right, hey guys. This is something I wish we had gone over before this little break that we're on, um, but I will go over it now. Um, it is the final test grade you're going to have for the quarter. I had warned you and given you some notice that you were going to be doing this, but I'm going to go over the assignment now. I'm not going to read the example, but there's an example at the bottom of this, so I'm going to point in that direction as well. So you're going to be in the coming days practicing creating dialogue and creating different conversations to reflect what a play would do, because we see what we're looking at in Romeo and Juliet. They're conversations. There's no narrator. It's just conversations between different characters, and you're going to do the same thing. All right. So the idea here, the situation that's set up, is that the Ridgefield Playhouse is seeking a one-act play, all right, that highlights an aspect of adolescent life. The chosen pieces will be performed as a part of a cabaret for local theater goers. So, this ideally, you would create something that is read aloud on stage. Okay, so you got to think of it as a play and it would be acted out. So, your task is to compose an original one act play. I say scene because it could be just a one scene play. It's up to you. Okay, and we'll talk about formatting as well. That demonstrates how contemporary teenagers view uh, his or herself in light of biological, societal, cultural, and personal contexts. So, keeping those things in mind, biological, societal, cultural, personal, what I'm talking about there is the nonfiction that we've read, the multiple choice questions that we've had, the articles about the teen brain. Excuse me. Those are what you need to sort of use to inform your characters. Okay, that's how you're going to create them. You're teenagers yourselves, but you want to put even more thought into who they are. Okay, this will be evaluated as a test grade using the attached rubric, and it is using a strand from the global competency for creativity and innovation. Okay, and then we of course have refinement as well. So the goals. You should be able to use dialogue to develop a character shaped by conflict, biology, and context. All right. So obviously, the problem in a story or your play, the age for biology, and then of course, context is what's going on around the character. Okay. You can incorporate information or concepts from recent reading and learning to elaborate or develop your original ideas. So those are the nonfiction articles that we've been reading lately. You can carefully choose language in order to clearly and effectively convey a specific theme about the struggles of adolescence during a tumultuous stage of development. So remember, no narrator. So if you're trying to get across that a character is going through something difficult, you got to pay attention to how you're, getting that across. Okay, so your language is really important here. We weren't told that Romeo was sad. We saw it in his behavior. We were told what he was doing, and that tells us, his mindset. Keep that in mind. You're going to be able to analyze and apply feedback obtained through reflection and critique in order to refine your product. So, again, that might be comments from me. It may be possible that we'll do some peer editing of some kind, even though we are away from each other. We'll see what we can do. And you can present your play in a well crafted manner. It's designed with a style that is appropriate for the purpose and audience. I'm going to give you formatting to set up your play so that it is you know set up in a authentic uh, stage play format. Okay, so the process. All right. First of all, we have a list of all of the nonfiction articles there, and here's the example that you can read through. So you see the characters and sort of the relationship um, that they have. Okay, and we'll go over the formatting later. All right, but process back up here. Okay, um, you're going to select a moment that demonstrates the character's identity and how it was shaped to be. Okay, so what are we learning about your character in this play? You are going to incorporate resources from the unit in the creation of this scene or act. You're going to demonstrate an understanding of how to cite. Okay, so you're going to have a works cited page for the articles that you use. You're going to intentionally employ at least 3 literary devices that you analyzed while reading Romeo and Juliet. So that could be hyperbole, so exaggeration, simile, metaphor or extended metaphor, puns, oxymorons, symbolism, imagery, irony, which could be verbal, situational, dramatic is what we've really focused on. You have to somehow use those three in your play. You'll point out to me when you use them in a comment, but you're not going to actually, in the play, a character will not say anything of, will not mention any of these words. It'll just be clear that it's being used. Okay, so just like when Romeo speaks in metaphorical language, or Juliet uses a simile, Juliet is the sun, he's not telling us what that is. We obviously figure it out. And I'm going to do the same thing, but you're going to also kind of point me in the right direction too. It's going to be a 3 to 5 page play, okay, which is not terribly, it's not much because it's going to be a conversation. So it's very informal, okay. 3 to 4 characters. I would not go over that, okay. 3 is probably your sweet spot. You could probably use 2. I would not go over 4, okay. You want to avoid any lines or details that don't progress the play and a plot to an actual conclusion. So you should conclude your play, you don't have a lot of room to work with. So just make sure that everything that's being said has a reason for being said. And just make sure it's also, as far as content and language go, school appropriate. Okay. You should be able to make a play or make a scene or make a conversation that is appropriate for school. Okay. Doesn't have to be in school, but it should be appropriate. Okay. You'll use peer and teacher feedback as well as self-reflection to revise and refine your plan. So again, this is your final test grade. Again, we will also have a screencast for the organizer, and we'll go over formatting as well, but I'm going to cut this short now. This is the assignment. If you have questions, obviously do let me know, but this is going to be our